Dinner ends with the clinking of glasses and polite laughter. I gather the courage that's been hiding behind my ribs for years. I've accepted an internship at Aurora Design Studio, I say quietly. The room freezes like someone pressed pause on our lives. Father sets down his fork, slow and deliberate. You what? His tone slices through the air like cold metal. Mother's smile falters, the color draining from her face. Mina looks at me with that practiced mix of concern and superiority. You can't be serious, she says softly. I am, I answer, voice trembling but clear. Father leans back, eyes narrowing like he's grading a failed student. You had an offer from the economics department, he reminds me. That's a stable career, not childish sketches and paper dreams. I meet his stare and feel my throat tighten. I don't want stability if it means losing myself, I say. Mother gasps as if I've said something obscene. Do you know how hard your father worked for that opportunity? She's crying before the sentence ends, as she always does. Her tears are her favorite weapon. They make me feel like a criminal for wanting something different. Mina reaches across the table, her hand resting on mine. Ro, she whispers, you've always followed your heart too easily. Her voice sounds gentle, but the words sting like a warning. You can always do art later as a hobby, she adds. Father nods, satisfied with her reasoning. She's right, you're too impulsive for the design world. I pull my hand back slowly, feeling the tremor in my fingers. This isn't a phase, I say. It's who I am. The silence that follows is heavy and punishing. I can hear the clock ticking above the fireplace. Mother wipes her tears, but doesn't look at me. Father stands, signaling the end of my defense. If you choose this path, you'll do it without our support, he says. His voice is calm, but the cruelty hides beneath it. Mina lowers her gaze, pretending sympathy she doesn't feel. I gather my sketch case and stand from the table. My legs shake, but my heart feels strangely steady. No one stops me as I walk to the door. Behind me, I hear my mother whisper, "Why must she always ruin everything?" The words land softly but burn deep. Outside, the air feels sharper, cleaner. For the first time, I breathe without asking permission. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. But I know I can't keep living someone else's version of me. My phone buzzes with a reminder about the studio orientation. I smile through the ache in my chest. Maybe this is what freedom sounds like. Quiet, terrifying, and absolutely right. The next morning, sunlight slips through my mother's study curtains. I'm looking for a missing tax form she swore she mailed weeks ago. The drawers are stuffed with old letters, receipts, and forgotten photos. I pull one open and spot an envelope with my name printed neatly. It's half buried under Christmas cards, tied with golden ribbon. The return address reads Rodwell School of Art and Design. My pulse stumbles, breath catching like a skipped heartbeat. The postmark is 3 years old, faded but unmistakable. I slide the envelope free and see the seal already broken. Someone has opened it before. My hands tremble as I unfold the letter. The words swim, then sharpen into painful clarity. We are pleased to offer you admission with full scholarship. The rest blurs behind the flood rising in my chest. Full scholarship. Studio space. Everything I dreamed of while sketching in secret at midnight. I sink to the floor, the letter clutched against my heart. My mother's voice echoes from years ago. Maybe the rejection was a sign. You need something practical. It wasn't a rejection. It was stolen. My father's words from that same week returned too clearly. You're lucky the economics department will take you. Be grateful. I remember crying alone, thinking I just wasn't good enough. All this time, I thought failure was mine. It was theirs. The betrayal crawls under my skin, raw and cold. I stand, dizzy, staring at the family photo on the bookshelf. My smile looks forced beside Mina's perfect confidence. How long have they decided who gets to succeed? How many doors have they quietly locked behind me? I refold the letter carefully, like something sacred and dangerous. The weight of it burns against my palm. When I step into the hallway, Mother's humming drifts from the kitchen. It sounds calm, ordinary, like nothing ever happened. I want to confront her, to scream, to demand answers. But the words choke somewhere between fury and heartbreak. I hide the letter in my jacket pocket instead. At brunch, the house is filled with laughter and clinking china. My father boasts about Mina's latest research publication. Mother serves pastries, pretending not to see my silence. I can taste bitterness sharper than the coffee in my cup. Mina glances at me, pretending kindness. You look pale, Ro, still upset about the interview. Her voice drips with sweet poison. Father clears his throat, like a judge preparing the verdict. I called the studio yesterday, he announces proudly. My fork slips from my fingers. You did what? I whisper. I was your reference, he says, oblivious to my horror. I told them you have trouble with commitment. It's for your own good. The room spins as Mother adds softly, we only want to protect you. Protect me from what? From myself. I can't breathe. I excuse myself, clutching the stolen letter in my pocket. This time, I know I'll never let them take my future again. Rain begins to fall as I drive away from the house. The windshield wipers squeak, but nothing clears the storm inside me. I replay every word from brunch like shards of glass in my head. They lied. They buried my future under their version of what's right. The letter in my bag feels heavier than the car itself. When I stop at a red light, I can barely breathe. My phone buzzes with a message from an unknown number. Rowena Carver, this is Dana from Aurora Design Studio. I was impressed by your portfolio. Could we meet tomorrow? I read it twice before it feels real. Someone out there believes in my work. Someone who doesn't know me as the disappointing twin. I text back yes before doubt can take over again. The rain grows harder, drumming against the roof like applause. For the first time in days, I smile. But the moment doesn't last long. My car sputters, then jerks violently. Steam bursts from under the hood. I pull over to the side of the empty road. The engine dies, taking my fragile confidence with it. I rest my forehead against the steering wheel, shaking. I have no money for repairs, no one to call for help. The rain blurs everything outside until it's just color and noise. Then a shadow moves across my window. A man with an umbrella taps gently on the glass. I lower the window a few inches. Car trouble, he asks, voice raised over the downpour. I nod, embarrassed. Engine overheated. I think it's done for. He smiles. Kind but not pitying. Pop the hood, let me take a look. He introduces himself as Kane, the mechanic from the nearby shop. His hands move quickly, confident, unbothered by the storm. After a few minutes, he waves me toward the door. Come inside, it's too cold out here. I hesitate, then follow him into the small garage. The air smells of oil and rain, strangely comforting. He explains that a radiator hose burst. Easy fix, he says. You'll be fine. When I reach for my wallet, he shakes his head. Consider it a favor. Artists need all the help they can get. The word artist makes my throat tighten. No one has called me that before without mockery. I thank him quietly. He just shrugs. Keep chasing what makes you alive. That night, I sit in my car outside my apartment, staring at the rain. Kane's words echo in the quiet. Keep chasing what makes you alive. I pull the acceptance letter from my bag and unfold it again. The paper is wrinkled, but the promise still shines. They tried to erase this part of me, but it survived. Tomorrow, I'll walk into that studio. Tomorrow, I'll start becoming the person they never wanted me to be. For once, I'm not afraid of what comes next. Kane works quietly under the rain, sleeves soaked, face calm. Steam rises from the engine, like the ghost of my bad luck. "You're lucky," he says. "Just a cracked hose, easy fix." I watch him move with quiet focus. No judgment, no pity. When he's done, he wipes his hands and smiles faintly. "Try it now," he says. The car starts like it remembers how to breathe. Relief floods through me, mixing with embarrassment. "I don't have enough to pay right now," I admit softly. He shrugs. "You'll pay when you can. Some things matter more." His kindness feels strange, almost dangerous in its simplicity. Before I leave, he hands me an umbrella. "Keep it," he says. "You look like someone who walks through storms." That night, I can't sleep. The umbrella leans against the wall like a quiet reminder. Someone treated me like I was worth helping. It's been so long since anyone did. The next morning, I head to Aurora Design Studio. My heart races as I step inside the glass doors. Diana greets me with a smile that feels genuine. "Your work stood out," she says. "You see emotion in structure." I nod, too stunned to speak. For the first time, my art is more than rebellion, it's recognition. The interview ends with her words echoing in my mind. "Talent is nothing without courage, Rowena. Keep both." When I step outside, Kane's truck is parked nearby. He waves, holding 2 coffees. "Figured you might need this." I laugh despite myself. "You followed me." "More like coincidence," he says, grinning. "The universe works weird." We sit on the curb, drinking coffee as the city wakes around us. He tells me about his workshop, about fixing things underwater. "I like when something broken still has a chance," he says. It sounds like he's talking about more than engines. Days turn into weeks, and I see him often. Sometimes, he drives me to work when my car complains again. Other times, we talk about art and machines and how both require faith. He listens like my thoughts matter. He never compares, never corrects, never questions my choices. At night, I paint in my small apartment. The fear of failure no longer drowns me, it fuels me. Kane visits one evening, bringing food in a greasy paper bag. "You're too thin," he jokes, handing me fries. I tell him about my new project at the studio. He asks what inspired it. No one ever asked me that before. I talk for an hour without stopping. When I finish, he just says, "I get it, you're building your world." Something shifts inside me, small but irreversible. I realize I've stopped trying to prove my worth. Around him, I simply exist, and that's enough. Outside, the rain starts again, soft and steady. But this time, it doesn't feel like a storm. It feels like the beginning of something I finally deserve. The dining room looks exactly the same as the night I left. The same polished table, the same perfect plates, the same silence. Only this time, I walk in without fear. My father glances up from his wine. "You said you had news." I sit down, placing my hands flat on the table. "I wanted to tell you first," I say. "Kane and I are engaged." The glass slips from my mother's fingers and shatters. For a moment, no one breathes. Then my father laughs, short and sharp. "Engaged to that mechanic." "He's a welder," I correct. "He owns his own company." Father's face hardens. "You think that makes him respectable?" Mother's voice trembles. "Darling, people will talk, think of our name." "I have," I say, "and I don't want to carry it like a chain anymore." Mina sets down her fork, calm and composed. "You've only known him a few months. Ro, be reasonable." I look her straight in the eye. "I've known myself even less. I'm learning." Father leans forward, voice cold enough to burn. "If you marry this man, we withdraw everything. Your lease, your tuition, all of it." "You already took everything that mattered," I say quietly. The silence that follows feels like a storm building inside the walls. Mother starts crying again, the familiar sound of manipulation. "After all we've done for you," she sobs. Kane's name catches in her throat like dirt in clean water. "This man will ruin you." "No," I say. "He helped me see I wasn't ruined to begin with." Father slams his hand on the table. Enough. His voice shakes the wine glasses. If you walk out tonight, don't come back. I stand, heart steady in a way it's never been. I'm not walking out, I tell him. I'm walking forward. The doorbell rings before anyone can speak again. I already know who it is. Kane stands there in a clean shirt, rain still clinging to his hair. He smiles politely at my stunned parents. Good evening, sir, ma'am. My father crosses his arms. State your intentions. Kane doesn't flinch. To build a life with your daughter, one based on respect. Mother scoffs. And what can you possibly provide her? Freedom, he says simply. The word lands heavier than any fortune. I grab my bag from the hallway, the same one I carried when I left before. Mina's eyes flicker between us, uncertain for once. Don't do this, she whispers. I already did, I answer. Outside, the rain begins to fall again, washing the last of their voices away. Kane takes my hand as we walk toward his truck. I look back once, at the house glowing behind the curtains. Then I turn away for good. The night smells like wet earth and new beginnings. For the first time, I feel completely, gloriously alive. 3 years pass before I step back into their world. The university gala glitters with chandeliers and hollow laughter. Mina stands at the center of a crowd, wine glass in hand. She's telling stories about her research, her success, her perfect life. I linger near a sculpture, unseen but listening. Her voice carries across the room like perfume and poison. Yes, my sister still does her little design work, she says. Still living in that tiny flat, still chasing dreams that don't pay. The people around her nod politely, pretending to care. My chest tightens, not with pain but with old familiarity. The same script, the same tone, the same lie. Then the crowd shifts, and Kane walks through the door. He's still wearing his work boots, his shirt marked with grease. He looks out of place, and yet somehow he belongs more than anyone here. Mina's smile freezes when she sees him. Excuse me, she murmurs, trying to mask surprise. Kane nods politely to her, then walks straight to the dean. Mr. Knox, the dean says warmly, shaking his hand. You didn't have to come tonight. Wouldn't miss it, Kane replies, pulling an envelope from his jacket. The donation we discussed for the design program. The dean opens it, eyes widening at the number. $25,000. That's extraordinary. The crowd quiets, curiosity thick in the air. Kane glances toward me, his expression soft. My wife taught me that art builds more than beauty. It builds strength. Whispers spread like fire through the hall. Someone murmurs, "Isn't that Mina's sister?" Another replies, "The one who left, the designer." I walk to Kane's side, calm and certain. He squeezes my hand, and the noise fades into a hum. Mina's face drains of color as people turn from her to us. The dean raises his glass. To the Knoxes, whose generosity helps shape the future of art. Applause erupts, bright and full. I see the shift in the room, the tilt of power returning to balance. Mina tries to smile, but it flickers and breaks. A professor leans close to another, whispering, "Did you hear about her investigation? Something about falsified data." My father isn't here, neither is my mother. They've vanished into the shadow of their own pride. I look at Mina one last time. For years, I wanted her approval, her respect, her love. Now I only want peace. Kane leans close and whispers, "Ready to go home?" I nod. We walk toward the exit, the whispers following like distant echoes. Outside, the air is cold but clean. The night stretches wide and endless before us. As the doors close behind, I realize the story has finally changed. I am no longer the other sister. I am the woman who built her own name from everything they tried to erase. Sunlight spills across the floor of our new home. My sketches line the walls, framed and alive at last. Kane hums softly from the kitchen, the scent of coffee filling the air. I rest a hand on my stomach, still flat but full of promise. Our child, a new chapter written in quiet defiance. The phone rings, and Kane answers with his steady voice. He turns to me, eyes careful. They're at the gate. For a moment, the world goes still. My parents, stripped of their pride and fortune, waiting for entry. Old habits tug at my heart, the urge to please, to forgive. But the echo of who I was reminds me what it cost. I step outside, the air cool and clear against my skin. They look smaller now, worn down by their own choices. Just until we get back on our feet, my mother says. I'm sorry, I answer gently. That won't be possible. Their disappointment no longer controls me. I turn back toward the house, where laughter and warmth wait. Some families are born from blood. Others are built from courage. And for the first time, I know which one is truly mine.